All right, what is the next Otacook? Oh, the Yukihira-Style Chaliapin Don.
Hey, what's up? You called?
No? Who are you?
I'm the Don, you Goomba.
Oh, I get it, Don. Why are you here?
Well, I'm here to cook the dish.
The intro bits don't normally bleed into the rest of the episode. Plus, I don't think you'd fit. But trust me, the next time I do an Etsuya Eyes On dish, I'll give you a call.
Alright, you better do it. It's gonna be soon, right?
Yeah, totally.
Welcome back to I'm an Otaku, and I'm gonna cook every dish from Food Wars, or Otacook from short. It's the show where I try to cook every single dish from Food Wars. And this month, we're gonna be taking a look at one of the most iconic dishes from the series, and that is Soma Yukihira's Yukihira-Style Chaliapin Steak Don. I've actually made this dish before, or part of it. I made a Chaliapin steak inspired by this recipe. I just took a steak, marinated in onions for a little bit, cooked it off, tried to do the pan sauce. It didn't really work out, but we're gonna redeem myself on the sauce today, and we're gonna make the full dish. I actually made it for my grandparents, and unfortunately to say, my grandmother almost choked on the steak, and I had to deliver the Heimlich maneuver. She's okay, everything's fine. It all worked out. That's not gonna happen today though, so hopefully I won't attempt to kill anybody, and hopefully everything's gonna work out. So let's get started with getting the steak and the onions. Now, first thing we gotta do is we gotta deal with our steak. Now, in the manga, Soma used a sirloin. It was on sale. But I'm gonna be using a strip steak. But trust me, I did go to the store and I grabbed the cheapest steak I could find. It was still like close to $9, but it was the cheapest I could find. So here is our steak here. And right now, I'm just gonna tenderize it a little bit. Just to flatten it out a little bit. Not gonna go too crazy on it, you know? This is gonna be great for the audio. So then I've already done, let me get the other side too. I've already done some prep on our onions. I didn't think you guys would want to watch me chopping stuff. It's a little boring, and I'm not that great at it. So we're gonna, if I can get the stupid container open. Gosh. All right. Jeez. What did I do? I need the might of Zeus just to open a freaking container of onions. Oh, got it, finally. Okay. So now I just did a nice dice on the onions, and then we're gonna put it into our pan here. Get all the onions out. Then we're just going to place our steak in like so. Bring it over here so you guys can see. Place it in there, and then we're gonna, I have to open a second one of these. Should have put them all in the same container. I didn't know it was going to be this hard, or I would have done that. Okay, here it comes. How long is it? There it is. Okay. Jeez. Half the time of the cook is just me trying to get these onions out here. Alright, so make sure that we have a nice pile of onions here. Now the point of the onions is actually to use the enzymes in the onions to break down the meat. Because Soma was battling Ikumi, who was using A5 Wagyu, which is a really high quality piece of meat, and Soma was using sirloin that he found on sale. So the point of the onions is to try and tenderize the meat with the enzymes to break down the proteins to make the meat more tender and more soft like the A5 Wagyu. So this is good, and then this is going to get thrown in the fridge for 30 minutes. So a little bit of a longer time today, but it won't affect you guys, because like in 2 seconds, I'll be back and we'll be ready to do the cooking. All right, so we're gonna deal with our steak now. So I've got a tablespoon of butter right here in a pan here melting, and I also have our rice cooking as well. So we're gonna take our steak here, And right now we're not going to deal with the steak. We're just going to remove it from the onions. Get all the onions off of it. Oh, knock my phone there. Get all the onions off. Here's what our steak looks like. It looks a little discolored from the onions, but that is perfectly fine. Now we're going to set aside in a plate that I don't have, so I'm going to grab one. We're just going to set our steak aside right now, because what we want to do is we want to start cooking our onions. That's our first thing we want to do. So we're going to go into our butter here. Try not to make too much of a mess. Get them all in there. Yep, already making a mess. It's fine, we'll just throw it in there. Alright. Now this is a lot of onions. Way more onions than I thought it was going to be, but it is going to be A-okay. Now we're going to want a little bit of color on these onions, because in the anime you can see that there's a whole lot of color on the onions. The onions are very dark. So we're just going to stir these around, and we're going to let them go for quite a bit here. Now, before I forget, I will mention where I'm getting the recipe from. The recipe I am pulling from the back of the manga, and then also I'm going to be using a ChefPK recipe. Just a little bit for the sauce recipe, and also because I kind of messed up in the prepping for ingredients. Let me explain. So for the seasoning of our rice, we have to season it with umeboshi. Now I got actual umeboshi plums because that's what I thought the recipe called for, but the recipe actually calls for umeboshi paste. I saw umeboshi paste on Amazon and I ended up picking this up instead. And actually, ChefPK did that too. So yeah, he just cut up some plums and used it as a paste, threw it in there. I did the same thing. I already did it, so I'll put some B-roll of that on the screen now. But yeah, so I totally didn't mess up. I am doing what ChefPK did in his video. I'm copying him and not me not reading. That's what happened. But anyway, yeah, umeboshi plums. We'll talk more about these because I have heard of them from A Good Mythical Morning. Apparently these are supposed to be super sour. They're pickled Japanese plums. And actually, in the Rent-A-Girlfriend manga and season 2 of the anime, this is what Kazuya gives to Chizuru for her birthday. Even in the Otacooks, I have to talk about Rent-A-Girlfriend. But I have never actually had an umeboshi plum before. I will today, but actually, I did this with the cuttlefish jerky in the Mac Burger episode. So after I give these onions a little bit of a stir, we're gonna try the umeboshi plums. Made another mess. Dang. Alright, enough stalling. It's time to try one of our plums here. Now there is a pit, so I'm not gonna eat this whole thing. I'm just gonna eat a little bit. Itadakimasu. Well, that is salty. I thought this was going to be sour. It's so salty. Whoa! Alright, note to self. Don't put a lot of salt in the dish. Whoa! Yeah, like there is a little bit of sourness. Like it does make me pucker, but there's so much salt. It's not bad, but like, it's just a salt bomb. My grandfather, he can't have a lot of salt. I feel like if he ate this, he might like instantaneously like keel over. Gosh, I have to take another bite because it wasn't bad, but like, wow, it was like video game fans on Twitter with the level of salt. Again, it's not bad. It's just very salty. I'll probably finish this plum, but we'll be back when the onions are cooked and I finish this plum. Man, whoa! Alright, so we have cooked our onions down a good amount. I did burn them a little bit, but not too much. Just you can see I have the bottom of the pan burnt there a little bit. So we're going to remove our onions from the heat. I'm going to put it in this bowl I have over here. Try not to spill anything, but we know how I am. I'm probably gonna spill a ton. Yep, I spilled some. Hopefully the camera, I don't know if I want the camera to have caught that or I don't want the camera to have caught that. Anyway, I'll get it cleaned up, don't worry. Get all our onions out of there. Alright, onions are out of there. Then we're gonna keep the pan on because we are going to now cook our steak. Alright, now it is time for our steak. I'm going to throw our butter in, which is going to immediately start going. Want to get the butter brown, but I don't want it to go too far. I might turn this down a little bit. Get it all around. I did not season the steak. People are going to yell at me. We'll go to the fast. Might go with it in the pan a little bit. All right, pepper. Salt. Then we go steak seasoned side down. They're going to yell at me. There it goes. Now, I'm gonna try to shoot for a medium rare on the steak. Look, okay. I watched Ludwig cook a steak once, and normally when it comes to like YouTube chat or Twitch chat, like there's a consensus. Twitch chat's like a hive mind. Everyone knows what's going on. Everyone has the same idea. On this video of Ludwig cooking the steak, chat didn't know which way was up. It was like, oh, the steak, it's still mooing, Ludwig, you overcooked it, oh no. So, comments, calm down. The rice is done, but comments, calm down. I've cooked the steak before. I know what I'm doing. If I overcook it, I'll let you know. If I feel like I've undercooked it, I'll let you know. Everyone does their steaks a little bit differently. That's like the one thing with food that I don't think anybody can agree on. But I'm going to shoot for medium rare, so I'm going to do about 4 minutes each side. I have this thermometer. It will tell me where I'm at. So, yeah, we'll be back when the steak is done. All right, set the steak. It is at 135, maybe a little bit over. I might have overcooked this a tad bit. The pan is running away from me. Okay, what the hell? We're just going to take it over here. Bye. All right, got the steak off, got it on a cooling rack. And now for the final element of our dish today, the pan sauce. Now, when I made this sauce for my grandmother, it did not turn out well. I've always said that sauces are my nemesis, so that's the reason why I say sauces are my nemesis, because I couldn't make that sauce. So I turned the heat down because I really don't want to burn this, and this pan is very hot. Still have our juices from the meat, that's good. So we're gonna just start to build our sauce. We're gonna go with our wine. Now, the recipe says 4 tablespoons of red wine. I don't think that's right. I don't know why it says 4 tablespoons. And ChefPK wasn't really helping. He just said deglaze with red wine. So we're gonna put like, we're just gonna put like a cup. We're just gonna put like a cup. And if a cup is equivalent, actually, we're just gonna put as much wine as I have in there because I don't even have a cup. So whatever, screw it. Whoa. Okay. Put that in there. I'll throw this away eventually. Now we're just gonna deglaze here. There were a couple stray onions in the pan, so those will be fun for the sauce later. We're just gonna reduce that, and after that's reduced, we will add a tablespoon of soy sauce, which I will get ready to add in here. I don't know how far reduced this has to be, probably about by half. Again, I'm not good with sauces, and we'll hold off. Also, another reason I think I'm not good with sauces is because of cornstarch is just hard to work with. I got a slurry here, but even then, it's like hard. I read that if you stir the slurry up a bunch before you put it in, that helps, but we're not ready for that quite yet. I have a mess on this counter. Like, look at it, I got everything everywhere, all at once. Everything everywhere, all at once. Okay. So, make sure the wine is reducing nicely.
Might turn the heat up just a tad bit for this. All right, I think our wine is reduced, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna season with our soy sauce. Do we even have a tablespoon of soy sauce in here? Geez, I need to buy some more ingredients, don't I? All right, so I have a little bit of soy sauce left. There's that. And then let me double check our recipe. Once reduced in saute, soy sauce. Go. And then we're going to add our slurry. Now I'm going to stir the slurry real quick before I throw it in. And then I keep talking about PK, hold up. Stir that. I do not want to mess this up. I really do not want to mess this up. So we're going to pour in, and as I pour in, I'm going to stir this thing up. Okay, so we're pouring in. Okay, get that over there. Come on. Don't mess up on me. Come on. All right. I think we're good. Anyway, what I was saying before I interrupted myself with my mess is I will be linking ChefPK's video in the description. This looks lumpy as heck. We're gonna throw some butter in there like ChefPK says. Butter, there it is. Hopefully the butter will help make the sauce more luscious. Maybe I had the heat on too high, I don't know. Also, maybe this sauce isn't screwed up. Maybe I just think it is. I put that on high and not off. Whoopsies. I might have put too much butter in this. This is probably gonna be a bit of a mess. But we'll see when we actually try it because everything's all done. And also, I already cut up some green onions. I'll probably put some B-roll of that in. But yeah, we're gonna stir in our umeboshi paste, which I handmade myself by cutting up some umeboshi plums. We're gonna stir that in with our rice. We're going to slice our steak, top it up, throw a bunch of the onions on, and pour this sauce on that hopefully tastes good. Anyway, see you with that. Alright, so here's the dish, and I gotta say guys, this isn't like pretty by any means, but it definitely looks good. I am definitely getting better at my plating and my presentation. You definitely can't tell what's at the bottom though. I probably should have got B-roll of me assembling it, but I never do that anyway, but like, I think it would have made more sense for this because I'm like just covering the rice up completely. But anyway, enough stalling, let's just get right into this. Now, I will say, I did overcook. I think the steak looks a little good. Maybe it's a little too overdone for what they might say on like cooking shows or whatever. I think Scott Conan might tell me it's a little overcooked, but I don't think it looks bad. But let me try to get a bite of the steak here. Okay. Wow. You know, when I was cutting it, I was a little worried because I was like, it was kind of tough cutting into it. But seeing as how I just bit into that piece of steak like really easy and got a really nice bite off of it, kind of like it was chicken, I think the onions might have actually worked. And the steak tastes good, it's steak, but okay, that bite wasn't as good, but I used my front teeth for that. If I used the molars, it would have been better. Let me see if I can try to get like everything together. Alright, I went deep, got a little bit of rice, got some of the sauce, got some of the onions. This is a big bite. Let's go. Oh yeah. Okay. So, that bite was really good. It was very onion forward. The steak was really good. The sauce isn't that bad. I don't think it turned out quite right. I think I got onion right in the front of my lip. It was annoying me. But I think the problem with the sauce is when I burnt the onions and then I deglazed with the lime, the burnt kind of went into the sauce. So the sauce on its own isn't that great, but the sauce with everything else is really good. And let me try to like isolate the rice here. And you can see maybe, there's a little bit of pink, you can see the umeboshi in there. The rice with the salt cuts through the richness of everything. I really need to not eat with, or really not talk with my mouth full, but it's the only way to do this without there being a lot of dead air. Anyway, yeah. The rice does cut through the richness because you got the onions, you get the steak. It's a lot of umami, it's a lot of savory flavors. And then you get the rice with the salt. It just cuts right through. And you just really want more of the steak after that. So I think this is probably the best success I've ever had on Otacook. Definitely make this one. Definitely check out Chef PK's recipe because his recipe is a better tutorial than what I did. And also buy the manga too, or check out the recipe in the manga because it was actually really intuitive and it was really easy to follow. So definitely make this for yourself, and I am going to enjoy eating this for my supper. And when we come back, we will be with the chapter breakdown, which you're not gonna wanna miss. All right, I am done after eating the Chaliapin Steak Don, and it was really good. Now, the umeboshi and the rice was a little intense for me, actually kind of a lot of intense, so it was a little hard to get through, but actually the sauce wasn't as bad as I made it out to be. I just doused it with a bunch of sauce, rice went down just fine. But anyway, now we're going to get into the chapter breakdown in the manga here. Now this is a big chapter in Food Wars. We get our first Shokugeki that Soma competes in. The first Shokugeki was Erina versus that one sumo dude, but this is Soma's first Shokugeki. And we get introduced to Ikumi Mito, who everybody in the community just loves. Me, I don't personally love her that much. I mean, all the Food Wars characters are great, but I'm just not that head over heels for her like other people are. Also, she used to like be Erina's underling. Like, I totally forgot about that until I reread the manga for this video. But Ikumi, she's great at meat. Soma calls her meat, and so she challenges Soma to meat. And also bowls, because Bowl Club is going to get shut down by her and Erina because Erina is a dictator and wants Bowl Club gone. I think there's a reason, I forget. But, I forget his name. I need to do more research for these. But the leader of Bowl Club, there's actually a pun that they do in the dub version that I think is really funny. So, rice bowls in Japanese are called dons. So, like, a beef bowl would be gyudon. And in the dub, they refer to this guy as the Don of Bowl Club. Don meaning, like, the head of, like, the mafia. And so it's really funny that, like, they call him the Don of Bowl Club when, like, it's the Don Club because, like, bowls from the Japanese, but like they don't explain that pun at all. I only got it when I watched the sub version and they kept calling them Dons. I was like, wait a minute. No, it's a joke. There it is. And I was like, why didn't they explain that? But anyway, I always think that's funny that he's the Don of Bowl Club. So I just thought I should mention it. But in the actual Shokugeki, Soma uses his Chaliapin steak against Ikumi's, is it Nikumi or Ikumi? I think it's Ikumi, but then Soma calls her meat because, or is it Nikumi? I'm gonna double check. It's Ikumi. If I was calling her Nikumi, my fault. I think that's actually what Soma calls her in the Japanese version as a nickname. The dub translates it to meat, because Niku means meat. Anyway, Ikumi challenges him with her A5 Wagyu bowl with the garlic rice. And Soma wins because his dish is more balanced. She just makes like a good steak with rice that's just kind of meh, and then Soma just makes everything good, because bowls are about harmony, which is what he describes it as. And by the way, Ikumi's dish, the A5 Wagyu over the garlic rice, that is going to have to wait. I do not have the budget for A5 Wagyu. I would make it without that, but like that kind of defeats the purpose of the dish. So later down the line, when I have the budget for that, we will definitely have to go back and tackle it. Also, I almost forgot, the girl who announces the shokugekis, I'm not gonna give her the respect of saying her name. I hate her. She sucks. She's so two-faced. And like, I get that that's like probably the point, but yeah, she's just so, I hate her. Every time she comes on the screen, I'm like, boo, get off the stage. This part of Food Wars is really great, especially Ikumi's foodgasm. Like, I feel like this is probably one of the better foodgasms. I'm not showing it on screen because I want to be monetized in this video, but yeah, definitely look it up. This one is Chef's Kiss. And yeah, that's going to do it for this month's episode of Otacook. Definitely tune in next month, where I'm going to be making Megami's 3-variety onigiri. That's right. You probably forgot about that one, but I'm going to do it. I mean, come on. The word every is in the title. Also, it's Best Girl Megami. I had to make it. So definitely make sure you're subscribed with notifications so you don't miss when the video comes out. Leave a like and leave a comment telling me what you thought. And as always, you're welcome.